In the oldest stories of Eastern Europe, the forest is not scenery. It is a mind, a memory, a border between what is human and what is older than humanity. You walk for days. Villages fall away behind you. The last church spire disappears below the horizon. The path becomes less a road and more a suggestion than nothing at all. Birdsong fades. The only sounds are your own footsteps, the snap of a twig, the whisper of wind sliding through branches that hang low like listening heads. Sometimes, in the way the wind curls around your ears, you think you hear your name. It is here in this deep, watchful silence that you might find her. But you do not see her first. You see the house. It should not exist. A crude log cabin, small, windowed with a crooked roof. But it does not rest on a foundation. It stands perched on two enormous, scaly chicken legs. The legs move. The house can walk. It can run. Sometimes it spins in place like a child's toy, circling and circling, door turning away from you, then away again, never facing you, as if it knows you are there and refuses to acknowledge you. Around it is a fence. At first you think the posts are pale wood. Then you see eye sockets. The fence is made of human bones. Skulls cap the posts, empty eyes burning with an inner, unnatural fire. In the darkness of the clearing, those eyes are the only light. You cannot simply walk up and knock. There are rules. You must know the words. Hut, oh hut, you must say. Turn your back to the forest and your front to me. If you speak them correctly, the house will shudder. The great bird legs will creak and shift. The whole structure will slowly turn, groaning until its door faces you. The legs bend, lowering the house toward the ground like a living thing, bowing to examine you more closely. Only then will the door admit you. This is not just a shack in the woods. This is a gate, and the one who rules here is called many things. She is a monster who sharpens her teeth on a stone and eats lost children. She is a wise woman who gives magical objects that can save a kingdom. She is a witch who flies through the sky in a giant mortar, steering with a pestle, sweeping away her tracks with a birch broom. For centuries, one name has haunted the forests of the Slavic world. Baba Yaga, villain, helper, judge, goddess in exile. To understand who she really is, the old stories tell us to do what all the heroes once did. Be brave, be respectful, and knock on her door. The story that leads most clearly to that door belongs to a girl. Her name is Vasilisa. Sometimes she is called the Beautiful. In other tellings, the Brave. Her story begins, as so many do, with a deathbed and a gift. Vasilisa's mother is dying. Before she goes, she gives her daughter a small wooden doll. "Feed this doll, my child," she tells her, "and consult it whenever you are in trouble. It will help you." The doll is more than a toy. It is intuition made visible, an heirloom of female wisdom passed down from mother to daughter. After the funeral, life turns hard. Vasilisa's father remarries a woman whose heart is a knot of envy. The stepmother brings two daughters of her own, sharp-tongued and cruel. They look at Vasilisa's beauty and hate it. They see her gentleness and despise it. They give her every chore they can invent, fetching water, chopping wood, cooking, cleaning, weeding, spinning. They hope to grind her down, to wear away her grace under endless labor. But every night, when the house finally falls quiet, Vasilisa sits on her straw pallet, takes out the doll, shares a crumb of bread, and speaks her troubles. And every night while she sleeps, the doll wakes. It weeds the garden, carries the water, stacks the firewood, finishes the spinning. By morning, the impossible work is done. Vasilisa's spirit does not break. Her beauty only deepens. This is unbearable to the stepmother. She decides on a different kind of task. Not one Vasilisa is meant to survive. The family moves to a small cottage on the very edge of a dark, ancient forest. Everyone knows whose domain lies beyond those trees. One evening, the stepmother quietly snuffs out every candle and covers the hearth. The cottage is plunged into darkness. "We have no fire," she said. "One of you must go to our neighbor and ask for a light." They have only one neighbor, Baba Yaga. The stepsisters refuse, theatrically afraid. So the task falls to Vasilisa. It is a death sentence disguised as a household chore. Vasilisa takes her doll, puts it in her pocket, and steps out into the night. The forest swallows her. The path vanishes. Roots twist under her feet. The trees crowd close, branches scratching like fingers. She walks through the night, heart pounding, whispering to the doll. It warms against her skin, guiding her, tugging her toward the right unseen turns. As dawn approaches, the forest changes. The air grows heavier, charged with an energy that feels almost like breath. Then she hears hooves. A rider gallops past. He is dressed in white from cloak to boots. His face glows with the chill light of morning. His horse is pure white, mane like early mist. As he passes, the night thins. Gray light seeps into the world. Later, under a higher, brighter sky, a second rider appears. This one is crimson. Red clothes, red horse. Face flushed like noon heat. As he passes, the light sharpens. The sun stands dominant overhead. Toward evening, as shadows lengthen, a third rider gallops out of the trees. Black cloak. Black horse. Face dark and unreadable. He charges straight through a pair of ominous, skeletal gates and vanishes. Night falls instantly, deep and thick. Vasilisa realizes she has seen something no ordinary traveler sees. These are not mortals. They are the witch's servants. Bright day, red sun, dark midnight. Baba Yaga does not govern a cottage. She governs time. Finally, Vasilisa steps into a clearing. There it is. The hut on chicken legs. The fence of bones. Skulls glowing with inner fire. The doll trembles in her pocket. Vasilisa is alone, but not unprotected. She speaks the words. "Hut, oh hut, turn your back to the forest and your front to me." The house screeches. Turn. Lowers itself. She enters. Inside, the hut is much larger than it appeared, as if the walls hold more space than they should. Herbs hang from rafters in crumbling bundles. Jars of nameless things line shelves. A great oven squats in one corner, its iron mouth streaked with soot. The air smells of smoke, earth, and something almost, but not quite human. A table sets itself. Pots stir with no visible hand. Disembodied hands scurry about like pale spiders, serving, carrying, tidying. They are not attached to arms or bodies. They simply exist. Then the forest howls. Branches thrash. The hut shudders as something lands outside. Baba Yaga has come home. She enters in a gust of cold air. She is not a kindly old grandmother. She is long-limbed, with iron teeth and a nose sharp enough to scrape the ceiling when she inhales. Her hair hangs in tangled ropes. Her eyes burn like coals buried under ash. She sniffs. "I smell a human," she shrieks. "Who is there?" Vasilisa steps forward. She remembers the doll's advice. "Be respectful. Do not tremble." "It is I, grandmother," she says. "My stepsisters sent me to ask you for fire." Baba Yaga's gaze drills into her. "I know your stepmother," she says slowly. "Very well. You shall have your fire if you earn it. You will work for me. If you succeed, you go free. If you fail—" She smiles, revealing teeth honed on stone. "I will eat you." In the morning, the witch gives Vasilisa her first tasks. Sweep the yard, clean the hut, cook the dinner. And then, from a great pile, separate a bushel of wheat, grain by grain, from dirt and tiny poppy seeds. All of it must be done by the time Baba Yaga returns. The heap of grain is a mountain. The job is impossible. Left alone, Vasilisa stares, despair rising like a tide. Then she remembers the doll. She takes it out, feeds it a crumb of bread, tells it everything. The doll's eyes glint. "Do not weep, little mistress," it whispers. "Eat your supper, say your prayers, and sleep. The morning is wiser than the evening." Vasilisa obeys. While she sleeps, something moves. The doll stirs. Ants swarm in from cracks. Small birds flutter down the chimney. Invisible helpers, drawn by a deeper magic, set to work. By dawn, the great pile is sorted into 3 neat mounds. The yard is swept. The hut is spotless. The food simmers on the stove. When Baba Yaga returns and sees the task completed, her eyes narrow. She is bound by rules older than she is. She cannot punish someone who has done what was asked. So she makes the task harder. More wheat. More dirt. More impossible lists of chores. Each night the doll takes care of it. Each morning, to the witch's mounting frustration, everything is done. Vasilisa never sees how. She simply trusts and rests, and wakes to a reality that has been quietly transformed for her. At last, Baba Yaga understands. The girl is not working alone. Someone or something more powerful than the witch is protecting her. "You have done your work," Baba Yaga grumbles. "You may ask what you wish to know. 3 questions only." Vasilisa, remembering the doll's counsel, chooses carefully. "I saw a white rider," she says. "Who was he?" "That," the witch answers, "was my bright day. And the red rider? My red sun. And the black one? My dark midnight. They are my faithful servants." Then Baba Yaga leans closer. "And why," she hisses, "do you not ask about what you saw inside my hut? The hands, the table that sets itself." Vasilisa bows her head. "Oh, because you yourself have said, grandmother, that it is not good to know too much." The answer pleases the witch. Vasilisa has shown wisdom. She knows how far to press. She knows when to stop. The test is complete. "You have asked enough," Baba Yaga says. "Take the fire you came for, and go." She steps outside to the fence, plucks one of the burning skulls from its post, mounts it on a stick, and hands it to Vasilisa. "Here is your light," she says. "Take it home." Vasilisa takes the grisly lantern. She wants to throw it away, to drop it into a stream or bury it under leaves. But the doll whispers, "Do not. You have earned this. Carry it home." The walk back through the forest feels different. She is no longer lost. The skull's light burns a clear path through the dark. Ancient trees shy away from its glare. The darkness itself seems to retreat, as if the fire in those eye sockets is something it remembers and fears. When she reaches the cottage, her stepmother and stepsisters rush out. They claim they have had no fire since she left. that every attempt to light one failed. They see the skull, and their faces light up with greedy relief. The plan, they think, has succeeded in some twisted way. They bring the lantern inside. The skull turns. Its empty sockets fix on them. The glow intensifies. They cannot look away. It follows them wherever they move, tracking, searching, judging. The light grows hotter, harsher. By morning, there is nothing left of the stepmother and her daughters but 3 piles of ash. Vasilisa does not rejoice. This is not murder. This is a judgment delivered by something that belongs to another world. She buries the skull in the garden so it can harm no one else, leaves the cottage, and walks toward a future where her trials have changed her. She will become a queen in some tellings, admired for her skill and wisdom. In others, she is Vasilisa the brave, expert with a rifle, unafraid. But in all versions, she emerges from the forest more than she was before. She went in a frightened girl. She came out initiated. To truly understand Baba Yaga, it is not enough to look at her actions. We have to pull apart her symbols. Start with the hut. A house on chicken legs seems like pure invention. But the image may be a distorted memory of something real. In the far north, Siberia, the Arctic Circle, the lands of the Sami and other Finno-Ugric peoples, people once built small storehouses raised above the ground on high, sturdy stumps. Little windowless sheds perched on cut tree trunks to keep food away from animals and snow. From a distance, to someone unused to it, those stumps with their spreading roots could look like great wooden legs, a cabin standing on feet. Over time, the practical structure becomes legend. The ordinary is mythologized. The food store becomes the witch's hut. But in the stories, the hut is more than a recycled memory of northern engineering. It thinks. It moves of its own accord. It stands with its back turned, door pointed away, until the right words are spoken. It spins in place. It chooses who may enter Baba Yaga's world. It is a gatekeeper, a liminal object, not fully in our world, not fully in the next. To step through its bone-framed door is to cross into a different kind of space, the thrice 10th kingdom, the Slavic name for the far, otherworldly realm beyond the map. The fence around it tells us what kind. Posts made of leg bones, a gate fashioned from femurs, a lock that is a human jaw full of teeth. At night, the only light comes from the skull's burning eyes. Each skull is a lantern and a warning, both trophy and threat. One post is often empty. That one is reserved for you, the witch says, if you fail. The fence is not a barrier in the physical sense. It does not stop you climbing over. It marks a boundary. On this side, life. On the other, a place governed by different rules where death is not an end, but a material. Baba Yaga builds her wall from what others fear. The tools she uses are just as telling. She does not ride a broom like a Western witch. She rides in a mortar, the heavy bowl used to grind grain. She steers with a pestle. She sweeps away her tracks with a birch broom. The mortar and pestle are traditionally domestic tools. They transform raw grain into flour, herbs into medicine. They are instruments of nourishment and healing. In her hands, they become weapons and vehicles. She flies in the mortar. In some tales, she grinds bones rather than seeds. The broom, too, has a double meaning. In ordinary houses, it keeps things clean, maintains order. In Baba Yaga's grip, it erases her passage. She sweeps her tracks from the air itself, making herself untraceable. She is a presence that chooses to leave no footprints in reality, a being who can move through our world without being fixed to it. Taken together, the hut, the fence, the skulls, the mortar, the broom, they form a picture. Baba Yaga is not just a witch sitting in a forest. She is a power tied to thresholds, to borders between life and death, between domestic safety and wilderness, between the human village and the deep, wild unknown. The Slavic lands where her stories grew were not empty of gods. Before the Christian cross arrived, there was a pantheon, a thunderer in the sky, Perun, armed with axe or hammer, whose domain was lightning, oaks, and war. A horned underworld god, Veles, master of cattle, magic, and the damp, dark places. There were river spirits, lake maidens, house spirits, field guardians. Everything was alive. Every forest had a watcher, every river a personality. In such a world, Baba Yaga is not just an isolated villain. Many scholars see her as a memory, a faded echo of a goddess, specifically of the terrible mother aspect of an ancient triple goddess, Maiden Mother Crone. In other European traditions, her sisters are easier to see. In the Slavic world itself, there is Morana, or Marzana, the goddess of winter, hunger, and death, whose effigy is still ritually burned or drowned each spring in some places, to drive away the cold. In the highlands of Scotland and Ireland, there is the Cailleach, a giant hag with a blue face who shapes the mountains and brings the first frosts with a strike of her staff. In Germanic lore, there is Frau Holle, or Perchta, who can reward diligent girls with gold, or slice open the stomachs of the lazy and stuff them with rubbish. All of them are ambiguous. They can bless or punish. They mark the harsh half of the year. They are old, powerful, not politely good, or conveniently evil. Baba Yaga fits this pattern. She can devour you, or she can give you exactly what you need to survive. She is not interested in morality in the neat Sunday school sense. She is interested in worth, courage, respect, wisdom. Over time, as Christianity spread, the old goddesses did not vanish overnight. They sank. They were retold as witches, monsters, demonized remnants. Baba Yaga in this reading is a goddess exiled from temples into tales. Her worship is gone, but her stories refuse to die. Her role can be seen most clearly when we watch how heroes move round her. In many Slavic tales, she is what one folklorist called the donor, the figure who tests the hero and then, if they pass, gives them a magic object or crucial information. She is not the final enemy. In Russian stories, that role often belongs to another figure, Koschei the Deathless. Koschei is a sorcerer king whose soul is hidden away. Sometimes inside a needle, inside an egg, inside a duck, inside a hare, inside a chest, buried under a tree on a far-off island. As long as his soul is hidden, he cannot be killed. He steals princesses. He hoards life. If Baba Yaga is the wild face of natural death and transformation, Koschei is the perversion of death into stagnant immortality. You might expect them to be allies. They are not. In the tale of Maria Morevna, a warrior princess abducted by Koschei, the hero Ivan is told he cannot defeat the warlock while Koschei rides his supernatural horse. To outrun him, Ivan needs a stronger steed. Only one being owns such horses, Baba Yaga. He goes to her. She does not hand one over. He must herd her magical mares for 3 days. Each day, they vanish. Each day, he is helped only by other beings he has earlier shown kindness to. Each day, he returns with the herd. In the end, impressed or bound by oath, Baba Yaga gives him a horse whose speed eclipses Koshai's. With that, Ivan can finally challenge the Deathless and win. Baba Yaga did not serve the warlock. She enabled his fall. Her allegiance is not to evil as a side. Her allegiance is to the deeper balance of things. She can also be coerced. In some darker tales, like that of the blind man and the cripple, she appears as a predatory villain who visits a kidnapped girl to drain her strength. The heroes capture her and threaten to throw her into her own oven. Only under that pressure does she reveal the location of a healing spring. Even captured, she lies once, pointing them toward a deadly fountain of fire before finally admitting where the true water is. Her power is dangerous, but it can be forced into service. Another layer appears when she is not one, but three. In some stories, a hero is told he must seek not Baba Yaga, but the youngest of the three Baba Yagas. He travels to one hut, then another farther away, then a third at the edge of the world. Each sister is older and more powerful than the last. Each tests him. Each, once satisfied, gives him a different tool or piece of guidance. This threefold pattern echoes the triple fates of Greece, the Norns beneath Yggdrasil in Norse lore, those mysterious triads of women who spin, measure, and cut the thread of life. Baba Yaga, in that form, is not simply a witch with offensive skulls. She is one face of fate itself. So why does her story endure? Because it isn't just about a girl and a witch. It is also about what happens inside a human being when they leave childhood. Modern psychology gives different names to this journey. One anthropologist, Arnold van Gennep, broke rites of passage into three stages: separation, liminality, and incorporation. First, you are separated from your old life. Vasilisa is cut off from the warmth of her mother, then from the normal village by the stepmother's cruelty, then literally sent into the forest. Second, you enter a liminal phase, a betweenness where old rules no longer apply. That is Baba Yaga's domain. The hut is the perfect symbol of this. Freud called such things uncanny, too familiar and too strange at once. A house is a symbol of safety. Put it on legs, make it spin, give it offensive skulls, and the safe thing becomes terrifying. Inside, Vasilisa must endure trials, face the terrible mother archetype Jung wrote about, the devouring force that threatens to keep a person small or crush them if they resist. She serves Baba Yaga but does not surrender her soul. She obeys where she should, asks questions where she may, refuses to pry where it would be unwise. She survives. Finally comes incorporation. She returns, but not as the same person. She carries fire from the land of the dead. She sees justice done without lifting a hand herself. She leaves the old house and does not return. The girl, who was once only a victim of cruelty, has become someone who can navigate the dangerous spaces between worlds. The story works at multiple levels. On the surface, it is a tale to scare children into caution in the woods. At a cultural level, it preserves echoes of ancient goddesses and buried religions. At a psychological level, it models a path. Leave home, face the wild, confront the devouring forces in and around you, trust your inner wisdom, and if you emerge, you will be more fully yourself. Baba Yaga sits at the pivot of all these meanings. She is not kind. She does not comfort. She tests, devours, rewards, all according to a logic older than kindness. She is the wild, dangerous face of the grandmother archetype. What was once worshipped as a goddess becomes feared as a witch. Yet the stories can't do without her. Heroes need someone to push them past their limits. to weigh their souls, to hand them the thing that will change their fate. In a world that often wants its forces neatly labeled as good or evil, Baba Yaga is something harder. She is like the forest itself. Enter without respect, and you may never come back. Approach with humility and courage, and you might leave with fire in your hands. Somewhere in the deep imaginary woods that still stand behind our rational maps, a hut creaks on its bird legs. It turns its back to the forest, its front to whoever dares call it. Inside waits an old woman with iron teeth and eyes that have seen civilizations rise and fall. She does not care if you think she's a villain or a goddess. She only cares whether you are worthy to walk out of her door again.